Thank you for tuning in for today's episode of the Rice Crypto Show. And joining me is Wright, who is a professional Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trader and educator. Now, Caleb is actually no stranger to the show, and I'm going to have links down below and above for his most recent appearance. But before we get into it, if this just happens to be your first time ever watching any of my videos, I do encourage you to explore my channel. Make sure you're subscribed, smash that like button, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos as they come out. I encourage everyone to check out my Patreon channel where I post up exclusive content. You get early access to videos. I'm doing giveaways for patrons only, and it's a way to support the channel directly. Be sure to follow my sister channel on LBRY and Odyssey where I post up extra videos. Check out my audio podcast, Rice Radio. That is hosted on anchor.fm. It's available on every major podcasting platform at Rice Radio. New episodes are out, so make sure you're checking them out. I have also recently partnered up with Money Metals Exchange. In case you haven't heard, you can get a free half ounce of silver. If you're a first-time buyer, visit moneymetals.com. You purchase $100 or more, you use the promo code RICE, you'll get a free half ounce of silver. It's an additional way to support the channel as well. I'm going to have links down below for everything I just mentioned, as well as everything we talk about on today's show. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, joining me once again on the Rice Crypto Show is my friend Wright. Caleb is also a professional cryptocurrency Bitcoin trader, and we're going to talk about his course. This isn't Caleb's first time on the show, so I'm going to have links down below and above for those previous appearances, and the most recent one will be up top. So, Caleb, appreciate you coming on the show today. How are you doing?
Hey there, buddy. Always my pleasure to be here and provide value. Doing great, and I hope that you are too, and everybody that's listening today.
Most definitely. And what's really hilariously funny, just so people know, we tried to record this intro. I tried to record this intro like 4 or 5 times, and just my brain, for whatever reason, wasn't cooperating with my mouth, and I just couldn't get everything to line up. And I think everything is good now, but I'm just going to go with the flow. So we're here, and we've got a lot of crazy stuff happening in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. It looks like we could be potentially at the very beginning of a massive bull run. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty huge. You know, I think right now Bitcoin has been consolidating underneath, beneath the previous all-time high, which was just under 20K. We've been seeing some prices, flirting in the 18K range, in the past few days. And it's been pretty solid. It's been a solid and slow buildup to this price point that we've been at. We haven't really had any real significant price movements other than like maybe a $1,000 range within a day, which is still not real big of a movement when we're up at prices this big with Bitcoin. But the crazy part about all of this is that we're just kind of at the beginning of a new major bull market for Bitcoin. I remember this reminds me kind of previously of how Bitcoin, before Bitcoin broke out to all new prices that we couldn't even imagine back when Bitcoin was just worth under $1,000. I remember kind of like, it was just crazy. And then it finally broke past its previous all-time highs, which I believe was somewhere around the $1,100 range that it hit back in the days of Mt. Gox, when it had that really old bull run. It was like several bull runs ago.
Way before
maybe that was around 2012 or something like that. If I remember, I might be a little off. Okay. But it was around the time of the Mt. Gox hack, which I think was around near that year. And that actually stopped the bull run around between $1,100 and $1,200, I believe it was, and then initiated the next the bear market that occurred after that. Basically, the price stopped going up, and we had a long bear market, which brought us to where we ended up discovering this market around the bottom of that bear market. I know is when I was first discovering the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market back when Bitcoin was down around $250 a coin. It was a great time to be finding out about it. And I remember it was not too long after that I ended up meeting you actually through social networking on Facebook.
Yeah, and I mean, as I said in previous videos, I mean, you have, when I first got involved in crypto, it was a couple months later, a mutual friend introduced me to you and your course, and we became friends, and I learned a lot from the course and continue to. I'm not as active in the Slack groups, but I still check out what you're putting out. And as far as the course, I mean, when I joined it almost, well, it's been over 3 years now. There's been a lot of stuff added to the course, and you're constantly adding a lot to it. And we'll get into the course, but what's crazy about what you mentioned with the Bitcoin price, because I wasn't involved back then in the Mt. Gox times, it was early 2017 that I really got involved. And it was about 3 weeks from now that 3 years ago that we started hitting those all-time highs right under the 20K range. And so far, with the slow buildup that we've had, we're recording this on the 23rd of November, Monday, and it'll more than likely get released tonight. If it doesn't get released tonight, it'll get released on Tuesday, the 24th. But we're sitting at $18,329 basically right now. And we've seen it touch as high this year, hitting an all-time high for this year since 2017 at roughly $18,961. Do you remember what the price of Bitcoin was early January this year?
Early January this year, I would have to look at a chart real quick, to be honest with you. I don't have it committed exactly to memory, but I would guess, if I remember it, if I do remember correctly, it was probably under 10K at that point. Am I right or wrong about that? Am I anywhere close?
If I'm looking at things right, it was January. That's not right, because that's January 31st, 2020, 9,500.
The last low that was hit was in the 6Ks. I remember that.
April of 2020, I believe was, well, yeah, April. Well, I don't know. This thing I'm looking at is not probably the best price reference at all. But what I'm getting at is there are a lot of cycles that happen within Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as far as trading goes. And a lot of this is actually kind of based off of like sacred geometry with the Fibonacci sequence and just the natural fractals that take place in the universe. Like when you see a flower grow or when you see a shell form, those actually correlate to looking at a Bitcoin or crypto or even traditional finance. It's, you know, that is definitely one tool. And that was one of the things that I learned early on, which was very fascinating. And when you can start getting an idea of these cycles and an understanding of how the markets work, it makes you a lot more effective as a trader. So when somebody gets involved in like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, you have two real choices. You're going to accumulate, whether you're dollar cost averaging or buying or however you decide to do it. You're just accumulating and holding and hoping for a gain. Or you're going into this and you're going to learn how to trade, and you're going to day trade, swing trade, or whatever it is, but you're going to try to do things to take profit and accumulate more coins. If you don't know what you're doing and you've never studied any sort of trading and you just think that you could just jump into an exchange and trade, it's not the smartest thing to do. And that's where someone like Caleb is like come in and been really helpful with what he's offering with his course. So Bitcoin Lifestyles Club, they have a general education course, and we'll go over the pricing. It's really inexpensive, but they have a general education course for just the basics of Bitcoin, crypto, and blockchain to give people a really good understanding. It saves a lot of people time of having to go and research all over the internet to be able to find this information. And then there's a trading course that teaches you about how to trade, all the different fundamentals of trading from beginning to advanced, and then going into analysis of different coins. There is a mastermind Slack group with other members of the course that are sharing information. And within the Slack group, it's not limited to just trading talk. There's talk about taxes. There's how do you do your taxes in a cryptocurrency space. There's talks about earning extra income, how to utilize different exchanges, it's just a lot of variety of information. If you want to learn how to mine cryptocurrency, there's a tab for mining. So it's a really effective way to do this. And the only problem I've seen, Caleb, with courses like this, and I've mentioned this to you before, is that people are charging an incredibly large amount of money for these courses, either yearly fees, monthly fees, but you're not really seeing an all-inclusive pay one fee, join lifetime. You're always going to get access to this, and you don't have to, there's no hidden costs. And I really like the fact that you've made this very inexpensive for people to be able to learn. What would you say to the person who is fairly new to crypto, who thinks they can get on an exchange and capitalize off this market?
Wow, there's definitely a lot to say about that, but I think you really hit it on the head, like earlier, when you just mentioned that, if you don't understand about market cycles, it's really hard to approach this market and trade it successfully. And so as a newbie, you don't really have the concept yet of like how the market moves, the natural way that it moves, and the cycles that it has from bull to bear markets. And what does that look like on how we measure these markets, which is looking at candlestick charts, to so many people who've never done any trading before in any other markets or have studied the concept at all, can look like complete Greek to the average person. Okay. So it's going to be really hard for you as a crypto newbie to jump on the exchange with some of your newly acquired Bitcoin. Okay. It's a very scarce resource and only becoming more scarce. You want to be very careful how you trade it. Okay. To make sure that you trade it for profit, that you don't lose your Bitcoin or lose Bitcoin value. Okay. By making an uneducated trade entry. All right. And so that's where I'm here to help you with my platform, is to help you get educated so you can know what you're looking at. I mean, and learning how to read a candlestick chart is part of the basics that I'm going to teach you, so that you can understand what you're looking at when you look at the market and trying to find a good opportunity to enter the market so you can make a profitable trade and increase your Bitcoin position, which in my view and what I teach to all of my students of Bitcoin Lifestyles Club is that the ultimate path to crypto wealth is accumulating your Bitcoin position. That's the point of all these altcoins. To us as traders, is to accumulate wealth, and Bitcoin is the ultimate is basically the ultimate way to accumulate wealth, is accumulate Bitcoin. The more that you learn about Bitcoin, and the reason why that it has this exponential growth pattern that you've heard us discussing earlier in the conversation, Bitcoin from $250 to, Bitcoin from pennies to when we discovered Bitcoin at $250 to Bitcoin today, for the first time in Bitcoin history, holding support in the 18K range for multiple days. The last time it was in the 18K range before it hit 20K, it was there for only a very brief time before Bitcoin met a level of major resistance at just under 20K, and then entered into a bear market from that point. Fast forward several years later, gone through a whole bear market, and where we are at today with the Bitcoin bull market, which I believe is just, and many of us believe based on the technicals of Bitcoin, that we are just in the beginning of a new bull market where it's going to make new all-time highs that a lot of people just can't even comprehend yet at this point. And this is all because, we've spoken about this on previous shows. I'm not going to go too deep into this right now. Okay. But this is all based on the technicals of Bitcoin, the inherent feature of Bitcoin, that it has a limited supply, and that it has every several years that go by a Bitcoin mining halving, which reduces the supply in half, which then gears it up for a whole new bull run where it can make new all-time highs. And that's how you have this exponential growth, where Bitcoin goes from pennies back when it was invented in 2009 to where it's trading 18K today. All right. And so I'm here just to help you learn how to navigate this market, to be able to maximize this once in a lifetime opportunity that's happening with the rise of this new financial market, which is going to become mainstream. And, companies like PayPal are, having joined the fray in the past couple months, are helping to make that become a major reality easily and quickly. We'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Yeah, I'm
but
glad you
I see
brought
we
that
have,
up.
I see we have Bitcoin Lifestyles Club, my website, teed up here, and Chris is going through some of the features and that we have here on the site. You'll see we have some testimonials and information about the course. Definitely check it out. We have a couple different course options for you to get started. We have the beginner course level, which is $27 one-time cost, okay? And that's gonna provide you with the beginner level tier of education, which is gonna actually help you. It's gonna provide you actually with an over delivery of value of training, and it's going to help you wrap your mind around actually how the market cycles and how the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets work and correlate with each other. And it's not going to provide you with all the trading strategies, but it's going to help you really understand this market. And for anybody that really just wants to start getting involved with the crypto market, this is the perfect way for you to start, because not only am I going to help you wrap your mind around how to understand market cycles and how to understand Satoshi value, I'm going to provide you with the dollar cost averaging, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency accumulation buying strategy. Okay, I'm going to provide you with a little bit of crypto exchange training, provide you enough to get going so that you can, I'm going to provide you with enough so you can just get going. Okay, get started. And then if you find that this is something that you really want to take further, and you got a passion for, you see the potential, and you want to learn how to trade, and you want to learn my winning strategies that myself and all my community members are using to trade this market and make a life-changing make life-changing gains as that we can. You can upgrade at any time from the beginner's course to our premium membership, which is $397, one-time fee, lifetime access, and you only have to pay the difference to gain access to that.
No, real quick, if someone wants to just jump in with the trading course and the mastermind community, that's going to include all the beginner level access stuff as well, right?
That's right. Right.
So you don't have to purchase both. You don't have to get the $27 package and then get the $397. If you're interested in learning about trading, I would just say go with the $397. As you see, that's really inexpensive. I would encourage people down below. I'm going to add my referral link. Use my referral link because it is a way to support the channel. It's a way that you can, do something to help yourself, and it also supports the channel in return. And then the really cool thing is Bitcoin Lifestyles Club does have like an affiliate ambassador program, so that if you decide that you want to share this information, kind of like what we're doing here, you can share it with your friends and family or anybody that you know. And if they're interested in purchasing the course, then you'll get a little kickback on that as well. So it's a way that you can help support the channel, and it's a way that you can bring in passive income for yourself. And like I said earlier, throughout the course, there is a lot of information in the trading course about earning passive income using cryptocurrency, like staking and different kinds of liquidity pool things, and different things that you could do through different dApps that would allow you to be able to earn more cryptos. And the best way to get cryptos is to earn them for free, I think. So
yeah, and only legitimate methods here. Okay, these are like mining methods. Okay, no, you're never going to find any type of like weird scheme here. Okay. There's a lot you have to watch out for when it comes to what people call passive earning methods in crypto. You have to watch out for those scams out there. Okay. And the only way to really do this is to leverage crypto mining methods. It's the only true and real passive income that you can trust in the cryptocurrency market. Don't do anything else, okay? And I'm going to give you the complete guide to crypto mining, whether it's with hardware, which is going to be the most advanced way that you could do it. And like, probably most of you aren't going to do it that way, but if you want to, you can. I got some instructions for you on how to do it. And I have a mastermind community with people that are doing it that way. But there are much easier ways to earn crypto passively with other crypto mining methods, which just really involve putting some crypto in a wallet and then just knowing how to you maybe use a couple of the wallet features to get it going in some cases. In some cases, you just need to put it in there and it starts earning passively. A lot of cryptocurrencies are different in those little aspects. Not all cryptocurrencies have passive earning features, but I'm going to, through the market research of our community, we've actually compiled a crypto hot picks list of the best cryptocurrency projects to trade and invest in this market. And I've detailed each one of them that has passive crypto earning / mining features. So you could even base how you build your trading portfolio around coins that earn passively when you hold them, so that you can buy them low, okay, as you would in a fundamentally sound trading strategy that you're going to learn how to implement with the training that I provide in this course. You purchase a coin entry low and then you pop it in your wallet and you earn passively. So you increase your ROI when you finally reach the point of exiting in profit at the other end of your swing trade, your very profitable swing trade. But you've earned additional cryptocurrency from the point that you bought it, you held it, and to the point that you sold in a significant profit. That increases your overall ROI.
Awesome. And I just wanted to show people briefly the dashboard. Once you get into the trading course, you can see that there's a Bitcoin tab, there's the trading tab, the mining tab, the bonus tab, which includes private coaching, the crypto glossary, crypto tax resources, and then the affiliate tab. So there's a lot of information here that's very helpful. I would definitely encourage people that want to learn more about cryptocurrency. All this information you can find on your own, but it's the time. Do you have the time to spend researching? I find that being able to save my time is also beneficial as well. And for $27, realizing how much, because I can tell you how much time I spent in the very beginning before I met Caleb looking through information. It was hours and hours and hours and days and months. So, and when I met Caleb, it was like, wow, all this stuff is right here in one place. I wish I would have met you several months ago, man.
Yeah, man, that's like a big part of like what I'm doing here is saving people a lot of time, and the way that I've built and arranged and organized the whole course. Many of the sections have overview videos. Like if you scroll down a little bit more on that screen, there's an overview video, and I'm going to give you in a very short video. Okay. I give the members an overview of all the different sections of the course and the very significant things that they're going to learn and why they need to learn them. And so that you're going to build an excitement about what you're going to learn. You're going to really want to crush through this. And I always recommend everybody that joins, you really ought to crush through this training as quickly as you can. You can definitely do it in a few days without, and I'm not talking about sitting there for 72 hours straight watching video. I'm saying like you can sit there for, a couple hours for a few days and
it could be just
several hours for a few days and you'll probably go through it all.
Structure yourself out, pace it. That way you can absorb the information, take notes. Cause I still have my spiral notebook that I had where I was writing down notes from. I would pause the video. I'm really OCD. So, so I was just going through and really being very detailed with the notes that I took. But even now I still go back and look through my notes to make sure there's not something I'm missing.
Yeah, definitely. And I do add a lot of text notes underneath the video trainings so that like you can easily copy and paste those into your notes. I try to put like the key ideas and things, parameters for the trades, if it has to do with the strategies, the trading strategies, things like that, just to make it easier for everybody, to make the easiest possible learning experience. And, I've got a lot of feedback from people over the years. My style of video tutorial making is just really easy for them to follow because I don't like start at a spot that's like way ahead of where that you would be. Okay. So
you're
that
very
it's
good
confusing. I start with the foundation.
You do a really good job of breaking it down. And if people want to get an idea of your teaching style, you do offer a free mini course. So check out the website. Links will be down below. Definitely use my referral code. It would be greatly appreciated and supports the channel. You can check out the free course. You can just learn about crypto or you can learn about how to trade and become a successful trader and get involved with these mastermind group of other traders that you can learn from as well, share information with. I guess before we get into like kind of the news stuff that we wanted to touch on and cover, do you have any price predictions for the end of the year of 2021 and the beginning of Q1, like what you're thinking just off the top? Do you think we're going to hit those all-time highs, all-time highs this year? Do you think it'll be next year? What do you anticipate?
A possible flow to this could be that we are making new all-time highs by December, and that by the next December, we could very potentially be reaching like the ultimate all-time highs of this bull market run, very potentially. Okay.
Right.
Something that people have to realize, okay, if you were to look at the length of each bull market that has occurred, has been longer than the last, and each one has been about 574 days longer. Well, at least this one has than the last bull market. And I think it's something like each one is that much longer than the last, 574 more days. I saw a fractal image somewhere which broke this down, okay? Trying to describe this. But basically, and it makes a lot of sense, especially how to the way that things have played out, especially the way that the prices have been moving with a more slower but steady grind in the market. Has its volatility, but less extreme than in the previous cycles. It's more stable. Okay.
So far.
Stable so far. Yeah.
Now, do you
there's no reason for that to turn around though, because we have, and I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Yeah, no,
okay?
you're good.
But we have, you know, the latest Bitcoin mining that happened, you know, earlier in the year. Okay. We have companies that are starting to add Bitcoin to their balance sheets, like MicroStrategy, which Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy, who came out and bought around, I believe it was around 400 million worth of Bitcoin added to their company's balance sheet as a investment for the long term.
Look what Grayscale
you have Square that did that. You have Grayscale that's been accumulating for their trust clients. You have PayPal, which is buying Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies hand over fist so they can operate. They're going to bring Bitcoin to, even though they're a centralized platform, I believe they have the potential to bring the mainstreamization of Bitcoin to a whole nother level with their centralized platform. I know we were going to look at a clip or whatever.
It's a good time to play that little video.
Yeah. Let's do that.
I wanted to get past that intro part and make sure that the algorithm didn't pick this up, since we're going to play the 2-minute long video. And this is coming from Caleb's Twitter account. I'll include links down below so you can follow Caleb and myself on Twitter in case you're not already doing so.
All right. Okay, share it with sound. And okay, so we have a little clip here that I found on Twitter where we have the CEO of PayPal is going to make some statements about Bitcoin and where he thinks that the world is going with Bitcoin, and about where his services are going with Bitcoin.
Before you start, man, I want to just real quick, since you got it, I wanted to shout out my boy Truth Raider. Truth Raider is a friend of mine, awesome person in space. I'm glad this is something that was on something that he had on his account that you're showing that you retweeted. So I just wanted to shout out Truth Raider. Sorry.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's awesome.
It's good people.
Even though it's a big world, it's a small world on Twitter. So when it comes to the cryptocurrency community and market. All right, so cool. Let's play this video.
Okay, and all of this commentary, is worth noting, follows PayPal's announcement that about a month ago, that it would allow users to buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrency on its platform. Joining us right now is the man behind that very decision, PayPal CEO Dan Schulman. Dan, it's great to see you this morning. We have watched the run-up in value of Bitcoin since you made that announcement, the idea of it being adopted much more globally, and the view, I think, that other rivals of yours and others in the financial community are going to be coming in at some point behind you. We'll see whether they do. But let me just ask you just straight up about the value proposition of Bitcoin, because a lot of people say, what is its true value? What is the inherent value of Bitcoin? How do you value it? I know you own some yourself. How do you value it?
Yeah. Well, I think all forms of money are based on trust and set values that come from that trust. I think if you take a step back, Andrew, especially with the pandemic, you've seen the use of cash decline precipitously. Something like 40 to 70% of consumers no longer want to handle cash. And just like every industry is digitizing right now, that is also happening in the financial services world. There's no question that people are flocking to digital payments and digital forms of currency. And one of the things that we looked at, and we talked to regulators around the world, central banks around the world, and it became clear to me that it's a matter of, not if, but when and how you'll start to see more and more central banks issue forms of digital currencies. And I think you'll have more and more utility happen with cryptocurrencies. One of the things that we allowed is not just making it easy to buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies, but very importantly, early next year, we're going to allow cryptocurrencies to be a funding source.
All right, so let me just unshare the screen, I guess.
You good?
Real quick.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a really interesting video. What I do want to note is, and I know that is a big deal. I mean, PayPal is buying the cryptocurrencies they're holding. Now, you can't send and receive cryptocurrencies inside of PayPal, and that's how Cash App started out.
So can you withdraw it to another wallet yet? I haven't really looked into the functionality.
So. I think it's more of what you would consider like hypothecation.
So if you get Bitcoin on PayPal at this point, you actually can't withdraw it. I wonder if that's ever going to change.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Cash App started out, they didn't have that send and receive withdrawal function. Okay. They added it later. So I'm assuming that they will, and they are buying.
They must. They're going to be kind of like a Coinbase competitor. You know what I mean? Well, so they're going to add it. They're in the early stage. But I found my first reaction as, before thinking about the big picture of this is I thought it was funny. He's like, oh, he's going to allow us to use it as a funding source. If you think about that, like not in terms of like the PayPal platform, like, oh, okay, that's like not allowing us to do anything that we weren't able to do before. And then in that Bitcoin is something that we can use for transactions unencumbered without permission from anybody. Okay.
Because of PayPal.
Just all you have to do is have someone that wants to accept the Bitcoin. Okay, that's it. So PayPal has, they're one of the vastest networks of merchants in the world, I guess, if you look at it as like a payments network for USD. Okay, it's like the vastest network for fiat payments at this point. And now they're adding Bitcoin. And so you have a lot of merchants that accept PayPal. So this opens up the world of, okay, so now they're investing in like the Bitcoin. They have the reserves. Okay. So now Bitcoin, all of a sudden, they could very well be opening up. They're almost like a lightning layer in a way to where you use Bitcoin, PayPal to pay merchants. And the transactions might even just be instant in that they'll carry over the transactions in the background. And it's something that will make it take a little longer for the actual transaction to, on the back end complete for an e-commerce solution in terms of, them being able to then deliver on the item because they know that they've been paid.
Well, I can say for a fact, I mean, when I saw in 2017, when we hit those all-time highs, the network got congested and fees got crazy, and we're not quite there yet, but the fees are a little bit high right now. Like
this could help that potentially.
Well, and that's potentially what things like the Lightning Network can do as well. My argument, and that's for a future video, would be don't keep Bitcoin limited and throttle. Let Bitcoin grow as it was supposed to grow based off this white paper. I mean, that's the argument of why we had Bitcoin Cash created and then all these other forks from Bitcoin SV to the most recent Bitcoin Cash hard fork. I mean, it's because people not agreeing with the direction. And when you see companies like Blockstream and Lightning Labs and the Lightning Network and things being able to utilize sidechain solutions and second layer solutions to be able to profit while giving that throughput that Bitcoin needs, you're going to see other people looking at that model and saying, if it's going to be limited, we might as well figure out a gateway for people to be able to use this as well, so we can profit from it as well. It's a double-edged sword, man. I mean, I like the fact that people are getting exposure. But it's kind of like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the LBRY application, but one of the things that they were doing,
remember that.
They it was basically synthetic futures.
Does that still exist? Is that still going?
It
Ever?
does. It
It
does.
does. Okay. Okay.
I know it was having some problems with the SEC, but I think they've gotten past and paid fines. And
They were a pretty big deal when it came out. I remembered actually.
Bill Barnhart, the CEO, he'd done a lot in the Philippines. So, I mean, it's a really cool application, a cool idea. The idea that you can speculate in a synthetic futures on something like, because I think they only paid out and used Bitcoin, Litecoin, and maybe Ethereum. So
they were based on like the Litecoin network or blockchain or something.
Something like that, but you wouldn't be actually owning those cryptos. Like if in the wallet, let's say you were just speculating on the price, kind of almost like what you're doing with PayPal now, except for PayPal is talking about opening up and adding the feature that would allow for payments with cryptocurrencies. So, I mean, we're just going to have to pay attention to it. I mean, I knew the banks were going to try to get involved. I mean, we're seeing now regulation has changed in the States where they're allowing banks to custody cryptocurrencies. And for somebody who doesn't understand what that means is when somebody has a custodial service, you're basically like being babysat. Somebody's holding your hand to make sure that you don't do anything that you're not supposed to do. So in the case of you holding your own Bitcoin and holding your own private key, you're responsible for not losing any of that information and backing it up properly. If you don't, you lose it, you're screwed. If you use a custodial service, they're going to take care of all those intricate things for you. I don't necessarily agree with custodial services, but I understand that people have choice and some people may want to not have that responsibility or because they're lazy or whatever the situation may be. But if they choose to utilize a custodial service, just realize the difference in actually holding and possessing your own private key versus allowing it to sit in something like Coinbase is a custodial service.
If someone else is holding your keys, custodian to them,
so
they actually are holding your Bitcoin. So you better have a lot of trust with that relationship.
Yeah, because the saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. And so, I mean, it's very important people realize that. I mean, I think if we see a lot of collapse of our banking system and we start seeing banks shut down and people not get their money.
So this is why I recommend with people, you know, sorry to interrupt you again. I just got kind of excited there, you know. I just want to say, you know, this is why I recommend to people, you know, and that with crypto exchanges, centralized crypto exchanges, whether it's the Binances or the Coinbases or the Upholds or the Squares or whatever, those are centralized services that are holding the keys. And just like with those services, I'm going to recommend with PayPal and any other centralized kind of service that comes along that you only put the Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies on there that you need at the time to either, whether it's in the case of an exchange, make a trade, okay, send it from your wallet where you're holding the keys and securing it, okay, and to that centralized service to make your trade. Or when you're ready to make a transaction with Bitcoin on a PayPal merchant, you know, you might send your Bitcoin to your PayPal account, or you might just take some of your fiat from your bank that you just enough to make that purchase at the time to buy the Bitcoin through PayPal. And then buy whatever with the, you know, I don't even know what the point to that is, to be honest with you. I don't know. That's funny. I'm like, I gotta laugh, Chris, because like, what is even the point to that? Because if a PayPal merchant is a PayPal merchant, why don't you just pay in cash? You know, the USD. Why would you go through the extra step to put the coin on the PayPal to pay the PayPal
maybe
merchant?
Somebody knows something that we don't know.
I don't know, but maybe if someone just has a ton of Bitcoin, maybe someone has a ton of Bitcoin, that's the only, you know, they have way more Bitcoin than they have like US. I mean, there's going to be people like that, but the most average people, that's not going to make sense to them. That's not going to make sense to the most average people.
Well, what I was going to mention too earlier was, have you heard all the nightmare stories of people who have lost or been shut out of their PayPal accounts because PayPal didn't agree with how they were utilizing their service?
Mm-hmm. So, or any other type of little arbitrary thing that has to do with their user policy.
So you got to pay attention to that. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's going to have its perks. It's just like banks being a custody of crypto. They're going to educate people. I think they're going to save a lot of time from people having to explain just the basics of what cryptocurrencies are, because I think that you'll have these financial institutions, these banks. If you go on to PayPal, I mean, the one good thing I will say right now about the PayPal application is it has a lot of really good education information inside the application on the cryptocurrency tab, kind of explaining you what cryptocurrencies are, what blockchain is, to give people a basic understanding of what this technology is all about. So I like the fact that they're educating. It's just, it saves people like us who are fans of decentralization the time of all we had to do is explain to people the difference of possessing your private key and not possessing your private key, having somebody custody your crypto and not custody your crypto, because everybody's used to the custodial services with banks.
Yeah.
If we see a collapse of banks and people kind of get to become their own banker, people have to take responsibility. That's the big thing that I've always said in the United States when people in the cryptocurrency space talk about being your own bank. People in the United States and different parts of Europe, Canada, where there's banks everywhere, they don't need it. But there are people in South America. There are people all over Africa and Asian countries that do not have access to banking. This technology is a game changer for them. I mean,
It's huge.
Yeah, I've seen the power of like a game like Splinterlands allow people to earn enough cryptocurrency to be able to actually buy food.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Playing the game, having fun, and at the same time being able to earn a little bit of cryptocurrencies.
And they're contributing to like the money making potential of like the producers of that gaming platform, because they're like being a player, which makes the game more entertaining for like the people that spend more money on their games.
Right.
And they're downloadable, like, you know, bonuses and things, the ones that can afford it, you know. So like that, it makes sense.
It totally does. It totally does. And I guess that's, you know, pretty much what we want to talk about today. I do want to bring you back probably in less than a month, and you know, because we'll be getting closer to Christmas, end of the year, and have a little bit better of an idea where things are at. And hopefully we'll be seeing the markets continue to climb their way up, and then you'll start seeing more interest. I know right now, from what I'm understanding, just from the research I'm doing and the videos and the people I'm watching, is that even though we're getting close to that all-time high price, the general public is not really super attuned to what's happening. It's more of the institutional money, the Paul Tudor Joneses and your companies like MicroStrategy and all these other big financial people. I think once we start getting to that 20K price, you're going to start seeing that retail FOMO, the regular people, fear of missing out, and just how many people. I know that there was a lot of people, but there was like a 3-week time period of Bitcoin that where we're at right now that you would not be in the profit. And that would have been if you were the person who waited till all the hype went and you bought in at the very top. But yeah, for those people who didn't sell and were holding on, they're now seeing where that money went down and up and down and up. Now it's starting to come back up to where they purchased in that. Because now we're sitting under $1,500 or so, $1,600 away from. And if we're thinking the price of Bitcoin is 18, that's less than a 10% move.
Yeah, it could happen anytime, you know. We're basically consolidating as we move towards that, what seems like an inevitable fate. You know, this the thing with this market is that with its limited supply, it just makes it interesting. And a lot of people, most of the retail just does not understand this. They don't understand the new paradigm that Bitcoin's kind of going to be moving into soon enough.
I agree.
But, you know, we'll keep reporting on it and keep, you know, explaining the reality to people and track, as we have for a long time, track this journey.
Most definitely, man. And I really want to encourage people to make sure that if you're interested in signing up for Bitcoin Lifestyles Club, that you please use my referral code, because again, it is a way to support the channel. You can also take advantage of the affiliate ambassador program yourself and and be able to earn as well. So I definitely appreciate your time, Caleb. Again, I'm going to have links down below for everything we talked about on today's show. Before we do wrap it up, you got any final thoughts or anything you want to leave people with on this video, knowing that we have Thanksgiving coming up in the next couple of days?
Well, I would just like to urge everybody to disobey your local state governors if they're trying to tell you to not have your family over for Thanksgiving, and really just enjoy your Thanksgiving and keep your eye on the crypto markets, okay? And keep your eye on Chris's channel, and definitely check out my platform if you want to start taking your trading more seriously. I would love to be able to help you within my community. But that's about it, my friend. And I really look forward to jumping on here again with you soon and bringing more value to everybody.
Awesome, dude. I really appreciate it. And again, I'm going to have links down below for everything we talked about. And if this is your first time ever watching any of my videos, I do encourage you to explore my channel. Make sure you're checking out my playlist section. If you like what I'm doing, make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos. And as always, I encourage you to be the change by practicing change. And one more thing I want to remind people, just because Thanksgiving is coming up and it's something that we're supposed to do to take the time to say thanks for the things that we are thankful for, we should start doing that on a daily basis. Wake up with that attitude for gratitude. Think about something that you're thankful for in your life and start your day off on a positive note. And with that said, much love.
Amen.